Howdy, folks of the internet. Welcome back to another edition of the ONETA Show, brought to you by PTE Creative. Yeah! Because on this edition, welcome back because we are talking WWE SummerSlam. So we're going to be doing a review of WWE SummerSlam that just happened as of recording yesterday, but happened this past Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Overall, good show. Good thoughts overall. However, we do have some things to really talk about. We're going to be going match by match and getting in a little bit more of the nitty gritty and what does this mean going forward as well from a perspective of a wrestling fan. So, without further ado, let's get to our matches and we're going to go in match order today. So, first off, Liv Morgan defends Horde. That is a bad slip up right away. Her WWE Women's World Championship against the former champion Rhea Ripley, and she was accompanied by Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So, if you're a wrestling fan, you've obviously been seeing a really, really good storyline build of the last 4 months of the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, trying to take everything away from Rhea Ripley. Slowly trying to take away Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the biggest heel in the business, so to speak, away from Rhea Ripley. And it's been working. However, we just had the definitive last 2 weeks of, oh, Rhea's back. No, Dominic's all with Rhea. If you're a longtime wrestling fan, you saw this one coming. You knew Dom was going to turn on Rhea, and he did. Let's go match first. I thought the match was fine. Good moments. However, this kind of felt like the precursor to the entire night. Bigger moments. Matches were not less than. That's not fair. But matches weren't, to my opinion, in my opinion, weren't a classic SummerSlam standard. These big four pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, you're used to getting a lot higher match quality, and I don't think we got that. We got a lot of high moments, and that was more the precursor in this. We saw for the first time in my memory someone kick out of Liv Morgan's Oblivion here. That was fun, but the match was fine. They were trying to tell the story of Rhea's shoulder possibly being dislocated. And they did 2 or 3 spots where she pops her shoulder back into place. While I saw a couple shots that I thought were interesting, it was very difficult watching this. This is one of the matches my wife sat down and watched with me. For context, my wife is a doctor, so she was calling bullshit on this hard. And that's the biggest issue with modern pro wrestling when we try to go back to a more classic standard of doing injury angles, when we're trying to do more when in a modern context, when you're supposed to stop the match due to big injuries and you don't selectively based on storyline, it somewhat cheapens the injury angle. That's what I felt with Rhea's. It would be an interesting thing. I understood what they're going for character wise, just really didn't think it was executed all that well. I think it just more so again showcases some of the faults in that's where I would be. But good character work here. Really like the beginning though of Liv just trying to run away and Rhea outsmarting her at the end to get her into the ring and really start a match. That was nice. Again, good character work. But we all know what was coming. A little over the top with the chair. The one thing I really can't stand sometimes is this. One of my other themes for the entire show was, are all wrestlers blinded by immediate rage? That was the big question mark. Rhea felt it here. We got that with Punk. We got that with Priest. It was just uncharacteristic for 3 characters that are portrayed as relatively smart throughout planners, manipulators, even if you will, really know what they're doing to then just all of a sudden break their plan just due to one outward thing that doesn't make sense. Rhea's express intentions were title, not kill Liv Morgan. And then to get in a match where she's dominating, she could have finished, but now we have to set up the Dominic turn. So she's going to pull the chair out for no reason. Well, the chair was already there, but she's going to pull the chair up for no reason. Then Dominic's going to be like, no, I'm the good guy. See, I'm trying to make sure you win the title back. It was just foolish, in my opinion. That's where I thought the turn was a little clunky. The end result is good. I did love the fact that Dom was there. The pulling of the referee, again, it was good but clunky. And the turn at the end with Liv winning and getting Dominic in the end to really leave Rhea with nothing. Very good storytelling aspects there. However, I thought the way we got there was a bit clunky. Overall, I'd say a decent match, but nothing crazy. But the storyline continues and it'll be fun. And I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if we didn't see these two inside Hell in a Cell come October. However, we have 3 pretty big candidates to go to Hell in a Cell now, so it'll be certainly interesting. Next up, though, with the Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn defends against Braun Breaker. My notes on here were very quick, efficient match, blink and you missed it type match. I don't think this does a disservice to anybody if there's a Sami Zayn mark out there going, oh, they treated Sami so poorly in this match. I disagree with that. The idea is Braun is an unstoppable force. And here, it was fun because the moments he was stymied, it looked more like a veteran was out there who was outsmarted Braun, but you can't compete against that athleticism in the end. This match I don't have a whole lot of notes on besides that. It's because this was still about getting Braun Breaker over to a wider audience than the NXT audience that knows him very well. If you've been paying attention to NXT for the last 4 years, you know Braun is the guy from that era. And for good reason. He's an athletic freak. He continues the Steiner legacy very, very well. But here I really like the big moments of athleticism. Weren't crazy. I think I did get legitimately concerned for his shoulder because it just seemed like he was favoring a little bit. Didn't want him to be derailed by that, but that's, again, good selling on his part if it's not there. We're not having a shoulder injury simply because it even got me to think, oh shit, Braun usually doesn't sell like that. So if he's even kind of favoring it a little bit, he's either doing really well selling it, and I'm concerned, or he's legitimately injured. It was somewhat of an unceremonious thing. This felt like the chalkiest of chalk match, where you knew Braun was going to have to take it. But again, good fun. Sami's always just such a good, reliable babyface, and when you beat him up, you just get so much sympathy on him. Overall, again, nothing crazy to write home about here, but good overall match. Fun quality. A lot of fun little athletic spots here with the spear and the Frankensteiner. Just, my God, is there a future star in Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker. He's the future over there, and it's very, very fun to see him be able to pull that off and do that. So Intercontinental Champion now. Now we got to see what stops him. Is this going to be the start of a face turn, which would make, I don't know if that makes sense with the story they were telling with him just wanting to beat people up to get what he wants. But he's already over with the fans. The term over is overused, but he's already over to the point where everyone just thinks he's cool and he's a badass. So eventually when you're cool and you're a badass, the fans are just going to love you no matter what. It's somewhat of the Roman Reigns effect. When you're so cool and you're so badass, it's really hard to dislike you. Braun's already to this point, and it didn't help that they were in Cleveland in the dog pound. Now, as someone who has been to that stadium, who at one time had a soft spot for that team and rooted for that team in some ways, the dog pound is tailor-made to love Braun Breaker. An athletic freak that they can do a dog chant to. Are you kidding me? It's tailor-made for Braun. So that also did not help the outward appearance that Braun is a babyface. But having said that, the audience is eventually going to win. So do they want to keep going down this road of he's a heel, he's a heel? I just think he's Braun. I think they're doing a little bit more with that. So we'll see how it all goes. But an athletic freak with an Intercontinental Championship to start his career on the main roster, hell of a good move in my opinion. Now I think we go to the weakest match of the night. It's in a race with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. We're going to the U.S. title. LA Knight takes the U.S. title from Logan Paul. So this is our second title change of the night. A lot of title changes here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 title changes, and 2 title defenses. Here's the thing that I think there are seeds to continue this story here. I can't help but hear Jim Cornette, where, going to the outside for 10 minutes, lazy booking. I can't help but also, if you want to just hear great wrestling stories and or tremendous analysis of understanding why things make sense or don't make sense in professional wrestling, please go listen to Jim Cornette. I don't care what new age cancel model you want to use sometimes with Cornette. You want to learn, listen to Jim Cornette. And listen to the experience in the drive-thru. Because we are proud Cult of Cornette members here on the show. With Knight and Paul, I think it was a mistake. You had a highly intensive personal matchup with Rhea and Liv. You had a highly intense personal matchup with Punk and McIntyre. Gunther and Priest turned into a highly, highly personal thing. And then, main event with the Bloodline, there's always going to be personal bad blood animosity between Rhodes and the Bloodline. Doesn't matter what iteration of Bloodline there is. This felt like, no matter what happened, and they did, Bayley and Jax got a little personal as well. This felt very much like we took this personal to try to get some heat on it, but that wasn't inherently the best thing for this match because it doesn't help it stand out. This could have just been more of a shit talk to shit talk kind of match. Let LA Knight flourish in the build up and then let Logan look like a chicken shit, which isn't necessarily his nature, but you got to get there a little bit more for his heel status. Love the fact that we now have LA Knight as a champion. That is a good thing. However, sloppy on the start with the fast start, sloppy with the head smashes into the table. The camera's looking directly at both their faces, and you see Logan hitting the table with his hands, and his head's kind of going close, but there's way too much room for even a fan that wants to believe and wants to really be like, no, look at his head. There was way too much space for even a fan that wants to believe to get there. And I'm someone who I want to believe, but I'm not just going to give it to you. I've loved the art form. I've loved the sport. I've loved professional wrestling since I was 8 or 9 years old, and to really see something like that, it just kind of cheapened and sloppy. Shit talk for the sake of shit talk was fun. I would wish these two would run their mouth even a little bit more in the ring. That'd be nicer. My big thing is this. I picked this picture for an instance. There are really good spots in this match. This is to me a good modern match where people want to see the spots. I don't think that's inherently what's best for the show or best overall for wrestling general, but to a more modern audience, this had the spots. The springboard turning moonsault that Paul does in this picture, holy shit. And for those who are just listening on Spotify, highly recommend to go see YouTube or just rewatch that springboard moonsault. Holy shit, that was a thing of beauty. Once again, Logan Paul proves he is athletic enough to really make a run of this and to make something special out of it. Not that he needs that anymore, but in the 2.5 years he's been around in the WWE, without fucking question, Logan belongs, and he's a great performer to have on your roster. He's still green though, so you got to work on it a little bit. Whereas it was clear LA Knight was running the ship here, which was nice. Again, it's just a little rough around the edges in a way that I don't think works as well. Plus, I'm a little iffy on the finish. So with Paul's version of the buckshot lariat, which I love the fact that he just steals from Adam Page. That's great. Because anytime you can get a real, not even AEW wrestler, AEW mark wrestler, taking their shit just for the fun of it, oh, it's great if you can use it better than they can. Which I'm not saying isn't necessarily as prettier, but it's at a better stage with more logical sense, so ergo it's better. I relish that shit. But the finish with the brass knucks, it cheapens the brass knucks. I understand they tried to save it with, oh, it was a jab, it wasn't a full thing. Commentary was doing a good job trying to explain more things. If there was glancing blows, they weren't just trying to sell it to sell it. They were saying, hey, like, I think they got it, but they didn't get all of it, kind of thing. That was nice for commentary to be a part of there. Commentary, I do have some overall thoughts at the end, but in terms of during matches, it was nice to see them not just try to cover it all the time as if it was perfect. They would say, oh, it was glancing blow, or I'm not sure they got all of that one, or something of that nature. But the brass knuck spot, you don't use that as a glancing blow. You use that as a finish or something really screwy that's going to make an impact. I don't think you mean it as a jab that's not going to finish a match, which immediately goes within 10 seconds we go from got hit in the head with brass knucks to reverse buckshot lariat into blunt force trauma and an LA Knight win. So that was a little clunky. Plus, Logan's foot is clearly under the rope. They showed it at first, but then I'm a little iffy because on the replay, they cut away from it and they didn't show it. They started to show it and then they didn't show it. So I'm wondering if this is going to be another one in the strings of officiating miscues that are happening on these big PLEs, or is this the continuation of this storyline? Which, if it's a continuation of the storyline, it doesn't bother me, but then I think you need to make a better deal. You need to do a better job making it a big deal. That, well, Logan's foot, he was counted, but his foot was under the rope. That shouldn't have counted. So then he has reason to continue this feud. Whereas, if you're trying to sneak away from it, you kind of do what you did tonight. So I'm a little iffy on where that's gonna go. So it's a very interesting vibe to check out. But overall, again, right result, fun moments, not crazy about the match. But we were great. We were also moving at a great pace with this show. It was nice not to. The commercial breaks were kind of getting me from time to time, but it was nice to be able to move through this card and not feel like Jesus Christ, or can we just get to the main event? It was nice to have some matches that still, even if they were a little clunky or a little sloppy at times, still had overall results that were positive and moments that were very fun and enjoyable to watch. The whole card was pretty enjoyable to watch, so that was nice. What else is nice, though, is we're going to take a quick break and take pause for the cause. I'm going to ask you guys. You see Logan Paul, you see LA Knight, you see all these guys. They're trying to sell you merch, which they should, because we're all here for money in the end of the day. But I'm going to ask you, you want to buy some merch and support a nice channel, support an just a nice little artist, head on over to Etsy. Go to our Etsy shop. It's ptecreative.etsy.com, and over there you can find a whole bevy of fun things to deal with and a whole lot of fun stuff all around the content that we produce here on the channel. If you go there, we've got hats, we've got hoodies, we've got stickers, we've got t-shirts, we've got Pokemon mystery packs, we got all kinds of fun stuff here, and we're getting more merch soon in the next couple months. We're going to have a lot of new different stuff, especially for football season right around the corner. More Pokemon stuff is going to be released. So, go get yourself some cool merch over at ptecreative.etsy.com and go get yourself some good merch and support a fledgling channel like ourselves. We would greatly appreciate it. If you could do that, thank you. We're going straight back into the show. So, from Knight and Paul, we go to what I think was probably the best match of the night. It's Bayley and Nia Jax. Now, a lot of people may say right off the bat, oh my god, what best match. If you look at the coherency of this match, this was, especially up to this point, the most logical match. And honestly, I'm looking at the rest of this. The match that follows this, Punk and McIntyre, story-wise, was really nice. And still captured the imagination to move forward. However, in terms of coherent match, building opponents, knowing what to do and what not to do, getting the crowd into it, I would probably argue Bayley versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. This was probably the match of the night, in my opinion. Really nice build. What I find somewhat difficult is, myself included, not super invested in Bayley. I'm one of those fans that overall always loves Bayley. Bayley always does a great job. Bayley's matches are always good. She's a phenomenal anchor for the women's division. Anyone that was building a wrestling company or building a wrestling roster, which one day we're going to do is build some wrestling rosters on the show, they'd be a fool not to take Bayley. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't come off as she's a good hand, because although she is a good hand, she's a star, and I really appreciate Bayley. But it's a little difficult when Bayley is feeling like kind of a lukewarm champion right now, to then see her constantly be put in the tougher spots where this is middle of the card. This immediately, because it's probably the outside of Sammy and Braun. Actually, even with Sammy and Braun, this is probably the worst of the builds of all 7 matches. All 7 matches had good builds. I want to make that clear, but this is probably the least of a build-up for this match. And they got put right in the middle of the card, where a lot of people are going to say this is bathroom break, this is popcorn break, whatever. If you watch this match and you listen, and it was really nice because it had the surround sound going, it was amazing to me how kind of lukewarm the crowd was. And then they really got into this match. They built this match. Bayley knows how to lead a match. And Nia Jax is doing a very, very good job using size. That's what I loved about this. Build to a match that was coherent. Nice spots that, for the most part, made complete sense. Understanding how to use Nia's size and show her as a giant, and showing Bayley fighting underneath. That's the thing. I know Bayley loves being a heel, but she is meant to be a babyface. And also, I did notice how the ring attire, especially with the fringe jacket, we were looking to get a lot closer to Hugger Bayley from NXT. We were not, role model Bayley of the past year or two. But it was nice to see that. I think it was a good callback, especially to their NXT days together, their matches together there. But really good use of showing Nia's size being a difference maker. This made Nia smaller than she used to be. Yet, they're understanding how to use her size as a difference maker as a positive a lot better. She still looked great, no criticisms whatsoever there, but she's getting a lot smoother, a lot crisper. Bayley really knew how to utilize the size differential. Whoever produced this match did a really good job of saying Bayley constantly has to fight a giant. How do you beat a giant? And Bayley did the best she possibly could. Again, and also the use of the Yokozuna Banzai drop, known as the Annihilator here. Oh, great. Really smart usage here. And I loved the covering of this, which was the Money in the Bank, the fake out with the Money in the Bank. Was it a whole plan or was it not? I love that they planted the seeds of doubt where it could have been or couldn't. It could be or couldn't be. I like the fact that Bayley's like, absolutely not. It showcased Bayley was smart, understood. Hey, if I let this third person into this match where I'm already dog tired fighting a giant, and although I have her on the ropes, I can't trust that a third factor isn't just going to come in and beat me or somebody else. I'm getting rid of the Money in the Bank holder right away. Really smart on Bayley's part. But then to have it really quick turnaround on Bayley after she takes out Tiffany Stratton, this was good pacing in my opinion. I hate when someone comes to interfere and then it takes like 5 minutes for a finish. It should be almost immediate. Otherwise, it shows the interference doesn't really matter, but it kind of does. It's very lukewarm, doesn't make sense. Where here it was hit Stratton, get her out, and then Nia Jax completely takes advantage of it and was really, really smart here. And I loved that about it. And I like the title change. I think when you're having a lukewarm champion that you're invested in, maybe getting away from it and let them chase again is not a bad decision. And I love the fact that while we had Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax in the ring and they're both holding up their prizes the entire time, Nia's just in jubilation, thinking, oh, our plan worked. Notice the eyes. Tiffany Stratton is looking at that title the entire time. So really, really smart play there as well. Again, I just think this was the best constructed match of the night. Really, really loved this because I was just like everyone else. I thought this was probably, if I were going to have to take a break from the show, this was going to be the one I'd probably do because I was least invested in it. And totally proved me wrong, and a really, really great match here. Then we go to the real reason I sat down to watch this show. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as our special guest referee. Shades of SummerSlam 97 here. To me, this is kind of the tale of two matches. Overall, the story was great. All three of them looked great, but Punk especially, when people were not expecting Punk to. Punk looked physically phenomenal. But there's still some ring rust there, and he's not as crisp as he once was, which hurts my feelings because Punk is my guy. Punk has been a hero of mine since I was a teenager. I am straight edge, so I understand representation because of CM Punk, honestly. And that's no bullshit, honestly. And to see him in really good shape and to start off, and it's still there. He still has it, but it's clear that there's some ring rust being away for as long as he has been. I'm fine with. It just was like, darn, wasn't exactly what you want out of a CM Punk match. However, the story is still there, so that's all that matters. Punk is understood. Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins, all three of them, have really gone to this new stratosphere together, in my opinion, in which we're worrying about the story. We're worrying about the turmoil. And if the match has some hiccups, it's fine because at the end of the day, we remember the bigger moments. That's what I think is important here. I'm coming fresh off a watch, so this is something in which you're like, okay, well, that spinning neckbreaker wasn't as good as it used to be, or that wasn't like, yeah, but look, the story is all there, and it was great. Again, what I loved is this was a great match for all three characters. All three played it really, really well. Sure, it was a little sloppy at the end, but it was a good continuation of the story. And anyone who people who were thinking this was going to be the ultimate transition away from Punk McIntyre into Punk Rollins you are sadly mistaken. And I think that's the truth because you can't. This is not the blow off because it's the first one. You got to have Punk in the end has to take it, but it was really smart for Punk to drop it here. What I loved about it is the fact that it's three characters that are all really well playing. McIntyre thinks he's done with this, and he's not. Punk let himself beat him. He let his rage beat him. That was the biggest thing. And at least they really built that over the last couple of weeks of, hey, that bracelet means something. Because it's the symbolic nature of you're getting involved in my personal life, and no one gets involved in CM Punk's personal life. So from that aspect, that was good. Was it a little much for me at times? Sure, it was. But I loved how all three men played it really well. Where you could see why Rollins and McIntyre would just be like, oh, just let me get rid of Punk. Okay. I loved the moments of Rollins. Sure, it was a little over the top at times, but I really liked the moments with Seth where Punk would kick out and you could see both McIntyre and Rollins both go like, hey, I don't like him. But you got to admit that was good. It was another way to subtly build Punk back where everyone's been saying, oh, we love Punk, we love the character, we love the character. What about the match, though? And him kicking out of some bigger moments and doing some things that people normally would say there's no way. It was a really nice way to utilize CM Punk and showcase he can still go with everybody. And that was really, really nice moments. Again, kind of clunky from time to time, but overall fun. And I like that Seth felt conflicted. Where he would still get up in Punk's face, but I like the fact that when he counted, he knew, fuck, I have a part to play in this too. And the overall story is, yeah, Punk screwed himself. That's true. Very much getting to be that 97 Bret Hart role. With the Bret Hart trunks as well. But what I loved is he looks and he's like, if I count this right now, yes, it's the right thing to do as the referee, but if I do this, I know I'm starting a shitstorm with Punk that I don't necessarily want to, and I know I'm giving you something that you... Maybe I get you off my back, but this seems really problematic to give Drew McIntyre a win here. That was a really fun character moment to see, and all three played the character really well here. So overall, still fun, and that's why I would say it still competes with... Overall match quality is Bayley and Nia Jax for me, but in terms of overall story and continuation here, really liked this match between the three of them. Now we move to the semi-main. And this was a hell of a good Haas fight. Damian Priest losing his world championship to Gunther. The Ring General. First of all, great fucking Haas fight. Great Haas fight. The match that we got up until Finn Balor's interference was really fun. I think sometimes you just gotta let Priest just have a match. There's a lot of guys on the show that just let them wrestle and it'll be fine. And some of the things you might be going, I'm not sure about that. You'll forgive because the quality of the match is so good. So even if sometimes, as I watch Damian Priest, there's moments in promos where I'm like, oh, that was really good, and then there's times I'm like, it was a little clunky. But when he just gets to wrestle and be a big guy and fucking fight, it's really good. And with Gunther, it's really hard to have a bad match because he's one of the best in the world. So it was a great Haas fight, and also Gunther learning how to be far more of a wrestling heel is tremendous. Gunther being the big size heel, when I first saw Gunther, I obviously knew he was phenomenal. And the matches were great. But in the last 2 years of watching him, he's transformed from, oh my god, he's so good in the ring, and he's kind of an arrogant type, erudite guy, to now in moments, he takes that and then amps it up even more where, the chop that makes him bleed, takes it, wipes it, and then wipes it through his hair and just kind of gives a little psych moment. That's tremendous heel work. getting at Priest a little bit more. That just brings out more intensity and more energy that I really appreciate here. Um, this was a tremendous match. What ends the match for me tremendous was the second we got Finn Balor. You knew Finn was going to turn, and the clunkiness of the turn is what bothers me. Again, I think by far this is the best match of the night until you get to Finn Balor's involvement. And then it takes it down a peg or two. When Priest hits, I believe, Razor's Edge, and then intentionally, when you see it coming, when you know Finn's going to turn and interfere, and he could have pinned him right there, but he kind of, like, Gunther is not turn full enough to say, oh, I'm just going to roll him over. He really looks like he's pushing him closer to the ropes. That's my, like, ugh. And then Finn interferes, screws Damien. And then Damien hits another move, and instead of going for the pin, goes to Goozle Balor. And then Gunther takes advantage to finish. Again, it was just clunky and it took a little too much time. And it's just... You could at least argue with Dominic's turn. He's playing the part entire time until the end. Where Priest and Balor, you've already had this tension. You know they're going to split. But Finn's out there for like 4 or 5 minutes turning versus... It's a little bit more instantaneous with Dominic, and that's the problem with the turn. And it kind of shades the match in a more negative light than it should. Because everyone knows it's going to happen. Judgment Day overall is a good group, but it's there's a lot of times they feel lesser because of the execution of some of the stuff, and this is where I kind of felt with that, unfortunately. Overall, again, though, great hoss fight, really fun match up until the turn, then the turn takes it to a lesser place. And finally, before the main event, we're going to take one more quick pause for the cause, because it seems like you guys are liking the show. If you do like the show, head on over and check out the rest of our content. It's a lot of fun stuff. Every Monday through Saturday, you now have a lot of great content coming at you over on YouTube. You can find our podcasts on Spotify. If you're already listening, we really appreciate that. And you can find pretty much clips almost every day, Monday through Saturday, on Instagram and TikTok. Mondays, you're going to get Pokemon card pack openings. Tuesday, you're already here. You already know it. You already love it. It's the ONETA flagship show. It's the ONETA show. Talk whatever we want. Next week on the show, we're going to be talking, doing a little bit of crossover with the ONETA movie show again, which is really cool. Wednesday, Pokemon Bliss and Oblivion Project. You're getting new Pokemon added to our Fakemon region, seeing a little bit of the art behind it, really adding to the lore of Pokemon. Thursday, it's the ONETA football show. We are going towards part 2 of the NFL expansion series, which is really cool and really fun. I hope you guys all enjoy that quite a bit. It's been really fun getting to play with the idea of new NFL teams, what would happen to the league, all that kind of stuff. So go check out the ONETA football show and get prepared for the upcoming NFL season. Friday, you get those nice rotational pieces, the ONETA Adventure Show, the ONETA Brick Builder Show, and the Pokemon card pack openings, the Yu-Gi-Oh card pack openings, the Lorcana pack openings, and we have more specials coming in the next couple months that are going to be really fun for you guys to enjoy. And finally, Saturday. You can get the ONETA movie show now. Really fun show where we go back in time, see some good movies from the day, or we try to fix new movies. So, for instance, we have the Cult Classics series that's been going on. We're covering some cult classics from both today and back in the day. We have the Big Box Office series. Our last episode was Big Box Office. We were talking E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Oh, what a fun show to reinvigorate your love for the movies. This week we're going Cult Classic again, covering the Tom Hanks 1989 classic, The Burbs. So it's really cool stuff. And the next week after that, we are trying to fix Batman versus Superman. So it's really fun conversation we had over on the ONETA Movie Show, and you can catch that every Saturday, Spotify and YouTube. But go check out the rest of our content Monday through Saturday. We'd love for you to get some more content and enjoy yourselves because of what we're doing for you. But finally, it's main event time. We go from Priest Gunter to a successful defense of the undisputed WWE Championship by Cody Rhodes over Solo Sikoa. I'm torn on this one. This felt like WrestleMania light, and I don't want anything to feel like something light. That's a problem for me. What I did love, one, character differentiation is immediate. Solo looks like a grumpy ass motherfucker who does not like people, and he is the heel. Cody comes out as the consummate babyface. Getting the legends involved, getting his dog Pharaoh involved, which I really like that nice little callback, and showing the more human elements of the character, even though it seems a little ridiculous to have the dog there. I really appreciate getting to see Pharaoh because it's a nice callback to when Cody was the man for someone else, and now he's truly the man for the WWE. And it's the journey that he's taken, and Pharaoh's a part of his journey. So it was really nice to see. And getting Arn beforehand saying, I got friends in high places, I'm taking care of some stuff, that was really nice. People know Cody's story involves AEW, so it's nice to use the positive moments of AEW for that. But the contrast between characters is great, and his entrance, he's milking it, really getting into the crowd engagement, being the babyface. That was tremendous. Cody is such a good babyface, it's ridiculous. But overall, this was a really good outing for Solo, and until we get to interference, again, good match until the interference is coming. We all knew when going straight to Bloodline Rules, I hate to say it, it's Jim Cornette classic, lazy booking. I knew exactly what kind of match we were going to get, and it was disappointing because I really liked that Cody took some time to powder, to get out and think about the match because he was getting overpowered by this uber confident, athletic badass in Solo Sikoa. That was really fun. Using Solo's size to advantage. Cody having to do far more quick movements. So there's logic in the first half of this match until we get to the interference of the Guerrillas of Destiny. There's a lot of logic here that I appreciated, and Solo had a really good outing. There are times watching Solo matches it's a bit clunky. I don't ever want to see someone run over the ropes when someone dips the ropes again, because every time I've seen it in the last 6 months, it's clunky, and I don't like it. This one was the best one I've seen Solo do, but it's still not great. So, Solo, if you're listening to me, which that'd be fucking cool if you were, because we love you here, but please stop doing the run over the ropes thing, because it's just clunky. I need all the Uso family to kind of stop doing that. But overall, I really like the showing here for Solo. Then we get the interference spot. Why in fuck do we constantly need to get entrance music during matches? Because it takes the logic out of it. Why, if you know it's such a long rampway that takes like 10-15 seconds to get down, well then fuck it. Just keep beating the shit out of the guy and don't worry about the guy coming. Just count to 10, beat him up. Just punch and count to 10 and then go, okay, fuck it. Now the guy's going to be here, so I got to save it. Guerrilla Destiny's, at least their interference was logical. Came out of nowhere. But the phases of he's going to interfere, and then they're going to interfere, then he's going to interfere, and then he's going to interfere. It just was... You can do that for the movie magic of it once, and it's really fun. This felt like a lackluster sequel once we got all that interference. However, we did still get a fun payoff with Roman coming back. I threw the one to the sky. It was fun to see the tribal chief return. Took his time coming down the rampway, which I get it. He's coming down. Roman's the big deal. You want to build the tension of what's Roman going to do. But at the end of the day, he immediately snaps right at Solo, which I really liked. I would have loved maybe 5 seconds of Solo dazed coming back up, and Cody and Roman are having a little bit of stare down, and have that one moment of respect where Roman goes, "You fucking beat me, and I know you did. So I'm going to help you here, and I'm going to take out my personal problems and help you with it." That would have been the only thing I would have done to slightly change it if we're going to do this more over the top dramatic style. But I did like how quick it happened. It wasn't trying to be like, I'm gonna beat Cody. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Everyone knew he's gonna turn on Solo because Solo turned on him. So he needs to take care of business. So I like the fact that they didn't try to waste a ton of time with that, and that was fast. But there was just so much time to get to Roman that was problematic for me. This could be said in a lot of the interference matches that we got. I mean, look at this: Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, interference; Bayley, Nia Jax, interference; Knight and Paul, interference; Punk, McIntyre, no interference, but you have a third character in the ring being your referee, so a little bit. Priest, Gunther, interference. We had interference in the majority of the matches on the show, and by majority, I mean the vast majority. So you need more fucking urgency if you're going to do that shit. Make it count, make it matter, and make people wonder about it, not just, oh, I know that's coming. Yeah, and he overcomes it just like I thought he would. So I just need more urgency. Again, really high point moments in this match, but again, need more urgency here. But overall, again, I did like SummerSlam. Really good moments, good continuations of stories. Little clunky at times, though. Overall, still really. I did enjoy my time, though. I was giddy to see the return of Punk. He's my guy. I get it, but that was a really fun matchup to watch. Bayley and Nia Jax to me was by far the best wrestling match that I really appreciated. Priest and Gunther until the interference, really liked it, and I was still into the main event, even though I was just like, okay, come on, fucking, come on. So that's where I'm like, okay, so I'm still in, still really happy, still fun to watch, just a little clunky. And I will say this: commentary, we're getting a little over the top. But I'd rather have it and feel emotional and feel like you give a shit as opposed to the old one that you don't do anything. So we're still working out some kinks, but the commentary is so much better than it used to be. So it's still like, who really gives a shit? Keep going with it. But those are some overall thoughts over WWE SummerSlam. I know this is getting released the day after Raw. So we're going to see some continuations of stories. Obviously, we know we're going to get a continuation of Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins there. And I assume I'm going to see a shot of Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio just making out to piss Rhea Ripley off. Fine. We know where we're going after this. And this is a good continuation of stories, but not a lot of blow-offs here. So I'm wondering where some of the blow-off matches are going to come to. So beyond that, though, overall fun card, enjoyable night of wrestling, plus 3 hours or 4 hours for SummerSlam, but it felt like at least moved pretty well. I was okay with it. A little bit faster would have been nice, but 3.5 hours for SummerSlam would have been good. I know they're going to a 2-night structure for SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble in the coming years, so 4 hours, I guess they're trying to justify some stuff, but there was a lot of breaks in between matches. But I love the fact that there wasn't overload of matches either. So it's a horse apiece. But otherwise, good show, enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Because that's the point of wrestling. You want to enjoy it as a fan. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know your thoughts on this show. I'd love to see what you guys have to say, hear from you, as always. But if you could do that, give us a like, comment, subscribe. If you're doing this on Spotify, give us a review. That'd be great. I'm not going to tell you, give us a 5-star review. Give us the review you think we're worthy of. That's the whole point of sharing your opinion. Not give me the opinion I want. Give me the opinion that you actually have. So give us a review. Check us out. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. That'd be super cool. Follow us on Spotify. Also be very cool. You can do the ONETA show, the ONETA flag show, the ONETA football show, and the ONETA move show. All available on Spotify. Follow all 3 for really good content. Keep checking out our YouTube channel. It'd be super helpful. And if you could, go buy some freaking merch. Yeah! Because we're here for money, just like everybody else. I'm here to make friends and make money, unlike CM Punk, but I'm still here to make money too. So try to help us out here on the podcast. Go check out everything you can. But instead of anything, go enjoy your day if you could. That's going to do it here for the show. Peace, love, and hugs to you all.